Alright guys, today's goal, the learner will understand how to graph quadratic inequalities. Okay, so graphing a quadratic inequality in two variables. To graph a quadratic inequality in one of the forms above, follow these steps. Step 1. Graph the parabola with the equation y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Make the parabola dashed for inequalities with less than or greater than, and solid for inequalities with less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Test a point, xy, inside the parabola to determine whether the point is a solution of the inequality. Shade the region inside if the parabola if the point from step 2 is a solution. Shade the region outside the parabola if it is not a solution. Okay, so let's look at these. So graph the inequality. So first step, change it to an equation. So we need to graph this. Okay. So remember the vertex x equals negative b over 2a. So calculate that. So you would get negative 5 over 2, which is negative 2.5, and then plug that in. Okay, so calculate that. You should get y equals 7.25. So we need to graph the point 6.25 comma 7.25. So go over 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, up. So 6.25 would be right about there. And then 2, 4, 6, 7 would be about halfway, so it would be right about there. Now you can erase this. So there's our vertex. It opens down. Now it says pick a point. Okay, so I'm going to pick this point right here. That point is 6, 0. So go back to the original. 0 is greater than minus 5 times 6 plus 1. So calculate that. You get negative 65. So is 0 greater than negative 65? Yes, so it's true. Oh, I got to back up though. This line here should be dashed. I didn't follow the steps. It should not be the solid. It should be a dashed line because it is strictly greater than. And that is true. So that means shade the middle. Okay? Alright, let's do another one. Okay, so again, think about it as y equals 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. So find the vertex. X equals negative b over 2 times a, so 3/4. Plug that in. Or if you want to, you can use a decimal here. Remember, plug that back in. Y equals. Do not round anything, though. So go ahead and calculate that. I got negative 0.125. So if we go to graph that, it'll be right here. and A is positive, so it opens up, and it's a solid line because it's the or equal to. So I would pick the point 1, 1, plug it in. 1 is less than or equal to 2 times 1 squared minus 3 times 1 plus 1. 1 is less than or equal to 2 minus 3 plus 1. 1 is less than or equal to 0. Is that true? No, it's false, so that means you have to shade the outside. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at something else. Alright, so graph the inequality. So step 1, change it to quadratic. Step 2, find the vertex. So x equals negative b over 2 times a. So you get 2. Plug it in to get the y coordinate. Y equals so negative 4 plus 8 plus 2. So 6. So our vertex is 2, 6. And it opens down. Dashed line, because it's just less than. Get a point that you test out, so I'm going to plug in 2, 0. So 0 is less than. Well, we already did the 2, so 6. Is 0 less than 6 true? So shade in the middle. Okay, let's look at some more problems. Okay, now it says graph the system. So we need to think about graphing y equals x squared and y equals negative x squared plus 5. Well, the vertex for the first one is 0, 0, because x equals 0 is the x coordinate and y, so plug it in, so we get 0, 0. A is 1, so it opens up, and it is a solid line. Now, here, the x coordinate would be x equals negative 0 divided by 2 times negative 1, so it's 0, and then plug that in and you'd get y equals 5. So graph the point 0, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5's up there. That one opens down. Oh. Forgot to check again. Dashed line. So now pick a point for the first one. Pick 0, or pick the point 0, 1. Plug it in. Is 1 greater than or equal to 0? Yes. So I pick this, so that means shade up. You can use that point for the second one as well. So plug it in. 1 less than negative 0 squared plus 5. Is 1 less than 5? Yes. So that means it's true there. So for this one, you'd shade down here. So where are they all true at? That's where you would shade. That is where they both cross. Okay? Let's look at another problem. So we've done graphing. Now we need to solve algebraically. So go treat it like so remember step 1 before. Change it to an equation. 2x squared plus 5x equals 3. Okay, now get it equal to 0. 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. Now this is where you have to do a times c is -6. Check to see if it can be factored. They add equal 5. So +6, -1. So then you have 2x and x. 2 times what equals 6, +3. 1 times what equals -1, -1. So you have 2x minus 1 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. So x equals 1/2. X equals -3. So now this is what you do. Set up a number line. You have -3 and you have 1/2. This is where we go back to the original equation. Pick a number smaller than -3. So I'm going to use -4. 2 times -4 squared plus 5 times -4 is less than or equal to 3. So calculate that. You would get 12 is less than or equal to 3. Is that true? No. So you say false. Pick a number in between. I picked 0 because that's really easy to plug in. So if I plugged in 0, you would get 2 times 0 squared plus 5 times 0 less than or equal to 3. Is 0 less than or equal to 3? Yes, so it's true. Now pick a number bigger than 1/2. So I'm going to pick 1. Plug it in. Is 7 less than or equal to 3? No, so this side is false. So now, how do we write the inequality? You write it for true. Well, when it's in the middle like that, it means -3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1/2. Okay? So there you go. The reason it was less than or equal to is because of that. So let's take a look at another one. Okay, so 2x squared minus 7x equals 4. 2x squared minus 7x minus 4 equals 0. So what multiplies to -8 and adds to -7? -8 positive 1. So you had 2x and x, because that's what equals 2x squared. What do I multiply 2 by to have it equal -8? -4. What do I multiply 1 by to have it equal 1? 1. So you're going to get, and that equals 0. So you have 2x plus 1 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. X equals -1/2. X equals 4. So you have your -1/2. You have your 4. Pick a number smaller than -1/2. So -1. Plug it back into the original. 2 times -1 squared minus 7 times -1 is greater than 4. 2 plus 7 greater than 4. Is 9 greater than 4? Yes, that's true. Okay. Pick 0. Plug that in, you would get 0 greater than 4. That's false. Pick a number bigger than 4, and you would get, pick 5. 2 times 5 squared minus 7 times 5 greater than 4. 50 minus 35 greater than 4? Is 15 greater than 4? Yes, it's true. So your final answer, x is less than negative 1/2 or x is greater than 4. And the reason it's only less than and greater than is because there was no or equal to. Alright, let's take a look at another problem. A hammer is dropped from the top of a 500-foot tall building being constructed. The height of the hammer can be modeled by h equals negative 16 t squared plus 500, where h is the height in feet and t is the time in seconds. A construction worker who is busy on a floor that is 100 feet from the ground sees the hammer fall. Write an inequality that shows when the hammer is above the construction worker. For what values of t is the hammer above the construction worker? Okay, so how high off the ground was the construction worker? Because it says h is the feet, or h is in feet, and t is in time in seconds. Okay, a hammer is dropped from a 500-foot tall building constructed. The height of the hammer can be modeled by this, where h is the height in feet. So he's 100 feet from the ground. So plug that in for h. And they want it to be greater than 100. So not 100 greater than. They want that to be greater than 100. But what we need to solve is this. So subtract the 100. Or actually subtract the 500. And you would get negative 400. Divide by negative 16. You get t squared equals 25. Square root it. Now, normally you would say t equals plus or minus 5. But we're not talking with negative seconds. So really what we're looking at is, on our number line this time is between 0 and the 5 seconds. So pick. Yeah, that's basically, that's what it's going to be. It says for what values of t, so it's going to be 0 is less than or equal to t, which is less than or equal to 5. Actually above, so it's not less than or equal to on the 5. It's strictly less than, because that means it takes 5 seconds for it to drop down. So all those 5 seconds, it's above it. Okay? See you guys tomorrow.